Good evening and welcome to the Design Review Board meeting for July 10th, 2025. The DRB meeting is now called to order. Please refrain from talking amongst yourselves during the meeting and please silence your mobile phones at this time. The DRB meeting is being broadcast live on GTV6 or Glendale TV, viewable on Spectrum Cable Channel 6, AT&T UVerse Channel 99. Meetings are streamed live in high definition on the city's webpage, glendaleca.gov/live, and on youtube.com/myglendale, and on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire devices using a free app called Cablecast, and choosing Glendale TV from the menu. Meetings are also archived on the city website for viewing at any time at glendaleca.gov/agendas. For public comments and questions during the meeting, please call 818-937-8100. City staff will be submitting questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. Current DRB agendas and staff reports are available by visiting the city's website at www.glendaleca.gov. Record of decisions for all projects will be posted online on the Planning Division's website. Please note that any appeal of a case heard today must be filed within 15 calendar days of the DRB's decision date. Meetings are also archived. The appeal of the application is available online at glendalepermits.com. This will be roll call. I see Board Member Cascani is absent. Board Member Lockruff?
Present.
Board Member Halajian?
Present.
Board Member Welsh?
Present.
And also with Board Member Simonian being absent this evening. The chair is absent for tonight's meeting. Can we have a nomination for Chair Pro Tem?
I nominate Board Member Welsh.
Okay, second?
I'll second that.
Okay. This will be roll call. Board Member Lockruff?
Yes.
Board Member Halajian?
Yes.
And Board Member Welsh?
Yes.
Okay. Reports regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the July 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Glendale Design Review Board was posted on the city's website on July 3rd, 2025, and on the bulletin board outside the City Hall on July 7th, 2025. This will be approval of minutes, and I do see we have minutes from the March 13th, 2025 meeting. If no comments, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay. This will be Board Member Halajian,
Yes.
Board Member Lockruff,
Yes.
and Mr. Chair Pro Tem Welsh.
Yes.
Okay. Oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Design Review Board may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decisions. Do we have it? I don't think we have any speakers cards filled out for oral communications.
No.
Okay, and I'm going to double check Comrex to see if we have any callers. I see there are none. Moving forward, do we have any board commissioners' comments this evening? Okay, we have none.
No.
And seeing that there's no old business, we're going to jump right into new business. We have one item this evening. It's located at 2084 Lilac Lane. And I'm going to turn this over to our case planner, Nicholas Haladi. He'll go over a brief overview of the project. Okay.
Thank you, Dennis. Good evening, Chair Welch, members of the Design Review Board. My name is Nicola Haladi, Senior Planner. I'm the case planner for this design review case, number PDR 004550-2025, for a new home at 284 Lilac Lane. So let me please provide a project summary, provide you with the CEQA, and then sort of give you a brief presentation walking you through the project. So to summarize, the project is a design review application for the construction of first and second story additions to the existing one-story, 1,300 square foot single-family home located in the ROS zone, floor area District 3. The proposed home would have a 2,315 square foot first floor, a 462 square foot attached garage, and a new second floor, just over 1,000 square feet in size. Note that there is a difference in the CEQA exemption that was listed in the notice that went out for public review. It was listed as a Class 1 existing facilities exemption. The correct exemption, as noted in the staff report, is a Class 3 for the new construction or a conversion of small structures. Because this project, while it doesn't involve the construction of a new home, based on the amount of demolition, our zoning code requires us to consider it a new home, which is also the reason that this project is before the Design Review Board tonight. So I'll begin by giving you a little bit of context for the subject property. It's located south of Chevy Chase Drive, just east of the Glendale Freeway in the Chevy Chase neighborhood. Lilac Lane is a small curving street, and the subject property is quite large. It's almost 2.8 acres in size, with vast majority of the site being vegetated, undeveloped, hillside sloped area, with a small flat pad area where the existing 1,300 square foot one-story home is located. The proposed project doesn't propose any new grading, essentially keeps the project to that existed pad areas. And in the near vicinity of the development, there are 3 coast live oak trees and 2 California sycamore trees that I'll describe a bit later in the report. So in looking at the existing site plan next to the proposed site plan, you can see that the project scope is limited to the existing graded pad. The existing sloping concrete driveway is accessible off the Lilac Lane curve. That driveway would be maintained and be used to provide access to the garage, which is on the first floor of the 2-story portion of the addition. And then generally speaking, existing landscape areas would remain, and then the vegetated hillside sloped areas of the site would also be unaffected as a result of the project. These photos show you some of the existing conditions. So simple, minimal, traditional home set up above Lilac Lane on this graded flat pad with a considerable slope between the street where this photo was taken from. Here you can see the story pole installation that shows the outline of the second floor for the board and staff and the community's reference. So here's the rendering of the proposed project. So you can see that the 2-story portion is set towards the east of the site, away from the nearest neighbor to the west on Lilac Lane, and generally maintains pretty simple traditional forms with 2 open gables set perpendicular to one another and a shed roof area that provides a transition between the first floor and the second floor of the addition. So on the first floor, we have a recessed entry providing access to the living and kitchen area, 2 bedrooms and a small library on the right-hand side once you enter. And this is sort of an enlarged footprint of the existing 1-story home. And then on the east left-hand side, we have the 2-car garage, 462 square feet, and a large playroom. And then above it, a large office and a 3rd bedroom on the second floor with 2 balconies facing north and south. So here we look at the front elevations. As you can see, it's simple, traditional forms. You can see the recessed entry. The applicant has proposed a stone veneer along the base of the home and at the recessed entry and at the base of the balconies. Nice big windows to provide natural light into the home. And then you can see the rear of the home with another large window into the living room and the 2nd-story balconies over the addition. And then you can see, looking at the east elevation, so the closest neighbor would be behind you if you were looking at the project from this vantage point. So you can see how the project sort of steps up from the 1-story portion to the 2-story portion as you move from west to east. And then here you can see the garage and that 2-story portion of the home. As I noted, there are 3 protected indigenous trees located on the subject site. Indigenous tree report was prepared by the applicant and was submitted for review by Public Works Urban Forestry, who concurred with the conclusions of the arborist report. Again, you see oak tree here near the public right-of-way. Larger oak tree set up in the hillside away from the subject site. This oak tree right here was the one that was identified by the arborist to be in poor health and whose removal is warranted. Project plans show him as the tree as remaining. However, Public Works also concurred that this tree was in poor health and has the potential to be damaged with the implementation of the project and vehicles going up and down the driveway. Anyways, full concurrence from our Public Works Urban Forestry folks and maintaining the existing protected trees, notwithstanding this one oak tree which is in poor health, which may need to be removed. And also wanted to point out a discrepancy between what was shown on the plans and the current conditions in the field. The subject site has these low stone walls that are really in keeping with the sort of rustic hillside character of the area, and they were shown as proposed to remain on the site plan. I think due to some sliding and some damage, and I can let the applicant speak to this, they increased the height of the wall and put a stucco over it. This doesn't necessarily comply with the zoning code nor with the design guidelines for hillside development, which look for a more natural look for retaining walls. So there's a condition of approval for the applicant to work with staff to bring that into compliance as this project moves forward, should it get approval from the design review board tonight. So again, a relatively straightforward project. Staff spoke to the findings with respects to site planning, mass and scale, and design and detailing in the staff report. And we do recommend the following conditions of approval: to reduce the stucco wall adjacent to the driveway and restore it to its original condition to expose the stone and maintain its natural appearance. The driveway, which is shown to remain, based on staff's observation in the field, is damaged. And as a new home, we would like to see a new driveway with decorative materials that are appropriate to the design of the overall residence, and offer that as a condition of approval for the board's consideration. As you saw in the elevations and the renderings, the home is as a straightforward, simple design, which is consistent with the style, but staff would encourage the applicant to think of a greater variety of exterior materials that could potentially add interest to the home, and offer that condition as something for the board's consideration, and to use perhaps an off-white or an eggshell white in lieu of the crystal white that was proposed for the exterior color. But, with that being said, staff is supportive of the project with a recommendation of approval. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions of the board. And the applicant and the property owner are here. And let me just add that I did not receive any comment based on the sending out of the public notice or the posting of the site, which was posted as required in the Glendale Municipal Code. So that concludes my presentation. Be happy to entertain any questions from the board.
Thank you. The arborist report, did it require replacement of the oak tree, or just removal of the bad condition one?
Because the project plans called for the maintenance of that tree, I'm not sure that it spoke to that. But let me take a closer look as the conversation goes on, and I'll see specifically what the tree report says in terms of the removal, and I'll revisit Public Works comments to see if they would require a replacement of that tree that was in poor health.
Okay, and I'll maybe follow up with the applicant, but are you aware that they're going to be removing the entire roof as part of this and doing a new roof on everything?
Yes, that's correct. The applicant did provide demolition calculations, which, when the exterior roof and the wall areas, they did exceed 50%, again, requiring this project to be considered as a new home and come before the design review board.
Okay. Any other questions from?
Board Member Welsh, I do have the comments, interdepartment comments, and I do have the Urban Foresters comments on my screen right now. They acknowledge if that tree were to be removed, they did not require a replacement or replacement ratio. However, they did state that an indigenous tree ordinance permit would be required, and that would include protection plan for the existing trees on site or any work near it. So there were no replacement ratios or replacements. To answer your question.
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we will open up the public hearing and call upon Gary, the applicant. Please state your name for the record.
Yes, hi. How's everybody? My name is Gary Gregorian. I'm an architectural designer of the project, helping owner Chris with the project. It's gonna be owners build the project. And thank you, Nick. Great presentation. And we did look over the conditions, and owner agrees with the conditions. We're gonna satisfy those conditions. Only the tree, probably, he just told me, a couple of huge branches just fell off the past couple of days of those trees, and he would like to remove that tree if it's possible, that oak tree. Other than that, I think, yeah, we did our best to kind of avoid design board. We did a simple project, fairly simple, and we tried to keep it into the footprint, existing footprint, but the house is so old, it's 1935, we had to demolish the entire roof, and that put us over the 50% threshold, basically, and here we are. That's all for me.
Okay, question for you. Because you're taking off the roof, can you explain why you selected the roof forms that you did?
So the original idea was to get some kind of exemption because we're keeping same style and design, and but that didn't happen. And project evolved. We did already structural engineering and all that, and the owner liked the design and the shape. It was satisfactory for him, and we kept it the same way.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant?
Just small ones. The suggested conditions include a variety of materials or colors. Did you have thoughts on what you wanted to do for that?
So we want to use a veneer base, a granite veneer at the base, and we wanted to do a stucco, just simple stucco. We proposed white color, but Nick suggested to go with eggshell or off-white. We're okay with that. And other than that, we wanted to keep it simple. We don't want to have a too elaborate house. Owner wants to keep it nice and simple. Maybe, actually, vinyl windows. We'll keep it simple, yeah.
And similarly for the wall, what material were you
Stucco.
thinking?
It's gonna be stucco.
Smooth stucco.
Smooth stucco for the retaining wall. Sorry.
Oh, for the
be
retaining
clear.
wall. For the retaining wall, what are we thinking for the retaining on the driveway next to the driveway?
Oh, sorry,
Driveway.
the tall wall that he mentioned,
Driveway, the
he
driveway
would like
wall,
to see
yes.
more natural materials on. You know what, we'll need you to come to the microphone, but not right now.
Yeah, wait for him to.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna bring it back to not the original look, because original look was crumbling down. Those stones kind of, I don't think they have even a motor. It's just stuck on the top of each other, and they were falling down on the cars. That's why he decided to go ahead and kind of reinforce it a little. But obviously, we can propose something nice wall, some nice wall, natural looking, more maybe with stamped concrete on the top of it.
Stamped concrete.
Yeah.
Concrete. Okay. Sorry. Just one more question. Do you mind bringing up the 3D image of the house? So I just was curious if you had, in terms of the roof forms, if that central volume, if you had considered extending the roof all the way to the other roof rather than terminating it there and then just having that be the roof of the entryway. I was just curious if you explored that option.
We have not,
Okay.
but we could. But I think if we do that, it's gonna be very bulky because we have already such a big volume for 2 stories, and then next to it, it's a 1 story. I think just adding to that 2 story, it's gonna create bigger volume.
Okay.
And next to it, as far as the balance, it's gonna be off balanced to me personally.
Okay. And did you consider the lower roof form where the fascia overlaps the middle volume? Did you consider terminating it at that volume? Just
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, could be.
could be.
Could
Doesn't.
yeah,
Doesn't.
could be.
Okay. Not. Okay.
Could be.
Thank you.
As a follow-up, did you consider just having that lower form, roof form, just continue all the way to meet the second-story volume as opposed to this sort of intermediate one? That's kind of a, because the upper roof is a gable, the lower is a gable, the other one is like a shed. And so they're kind of not necessarily in full alignment. And it also seemed like they have different slopes. Do they have different slopes?
It should be. So if I remember correctly, it's the same slope. So the middle part, it's a living room, and owner wants to have a higher ceiling in a living room. That's why we kind of elevated to give them that space. Because
Okay.
it's a smaller, it's narrower room, but they would have a higher ceiling. That was the idea kind of behind it.
You can see that on sheet A102, calls out the roof pitches, the site plan, roof plan.
So I saw that on A102, but that's lists a 612. But if you reference to page A10, no, A105, it was A102, it shows a 612 slope on the second story, 312 on the others. So they were not consistent on this page A102. So I'm just curious, are they the same or are they different on the different roof forms?
I have to double check that. I don't remember.
Tell us what your thinking is. Is that they
I'm
would be the
thinking
same
it should
slope?
be same slope.
Same
yes.
slope
Same
everywhere,
slope,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's the idea.
Okay, very good.
I believe there was a revision with a steeper roof slope for the second story that was then revised down, so maybe just that call out. But if you look at this diagram, you can see that the slopes appear to be consistent, and that was a staff comment as
Right.
leading up
On
to
the
the design
second
review.
floor,
board.
it was higher pitch. We
That's right.
revised it. Yes.
That's right.
Okay, all right, good. Mr. Elijah?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just curious about the driveway wall. If you have any ideas, are you with the more natural? I understand the cobblestones were falling into the driveway and they're not retaining, but are you considering doing like a split face CMU block wall? What are your ideas to comply with the hillside guidelines?
Yeah, obviously we're thinking something natural looking, not as modern as we have right now, stucco there. We have to explore the options. Right now, we don't really have a clear answer.
Okay. And as far as the driveway, you start off your public comment by saying that you will be complying with the conditions. What are you thinking about the driveway finish?
Refinish the driveway, right? Gonna redo the driveways?
Is it,
I apologize. Yeah, if we can have you please approach the
Stand.
podium and then speak into the microphone. And then, so that we can get that on record. Before you speak, just go ahead and state your name and then your address, just for the record.
Come on up.
for the viewers as well, so that's why we would like you to speak at
My name
the.
is Hachatur Arakelian. Short name is Chris. I'm the owner. So, what was the question again?
The question is if you have any thoughts on the driveway
If
finish.
you driveway, you see there is a like on that wall there is a three kind of the wall. So rock, black stone, and red stone. Another side is also
Sure.
there's four kind of the stone. I want to bring the same idea. It's not a front. Before I did anything, I came to the board. Even I asked Heraldi what I can do. Before I get my permit, he says, go check with the building safety, what is the guideline, what is the, what you can do without permit, what is allowed. I ask if I can do stucco match with my house, because in the street, all different style, not even a match in whatever I have. Says you cannot do any stucco front, but on the side, whatever is not showing on the front line, it's okay, it's up to you. So then my tenants, kind of want to sue me because that wall was so low when they bugging up and driveway is not in a good condition. So they hit their tires couple of times. I have to pay $800 to repair his rims. It's expensive car. So I decided to raise a little bit so they can see the wall when they turning. So that wall, if you can see, is like 3-4 kind of stones there. And it's in my driveway, not it's in the front.
I understand that there's various conditions that happened over the years, but my question is, what are your thoughts from appearance standpoint? When you remove the stucco, what are your,
Whatever is guideline, I'm gonna follow. If
Okay.
you allowed me, I'm gonna pull the permit. If the height is less than 5 feet, so it's less than 5 feet right now. If it's high, I'm gonna bring it down. If it's allowed to do the stucco, I will do the stucco to match the house.
To help guide the conversation here, the zoning code for retaining walls in the hillside areas, it shall be constructed of something that blends into the natural hillside, such as a stone or textured poured concrete or textured decorative, colored masonry block with colored grout.
Yeah, maybe if we can point out that section to the applicant so he can pick a finish. Yeah.
For the record, it
Yes.
is 3030-010
Yeah.
B1, but just to move this conversation
Sure.
forward and what the code says, so.
Thank you.
But I'm sorry, but behind that wall, there is nothing. It's not a retaining wall.
Mhm.
Like couple of feet, it's the stone. Rest of them is,
It's not so much the discussion about whether it's retaining or not, it's more about the aesthetics and the look and the finish, so that's what I'm,
What if we just take it out if
Yeah.
there is nothing to retain?
but right now it's like concrete patch. It's very difficult to take that out. Maybe we can make a concrete
Yeah,
look
we'll-
like
we'll-
a stone?
We'll look
Is that
into it
work?
and we'll make a nice
Yeah.
proposal,
yeah,
yes.
please do, yeah, thank you.
So, Chris, did you have anything more that you wanted to add to the conversation? You have a speaker card here, so I just wanted to find out if that was everything you had to say.
And I want to clearly understand that that tree is just keep dying and the big branches falling down. I have a picture couple of maybe months ago, the tenant sent me. It was blocking the driveway.
Mhm.
I had to have somebody send it to cut it. It just keep falling here and there. The one is too high, I can't get it, but my arborist recommended to remove.
Yeah, and
So I just
I think, as
wanna-
I understand it, the city is not going to have a problem with that. You just have to do a special permit for that, but they won't make an objection to it because of the condition of the
I
tree.
can remove it.
You have to get a permit, but yes, you could. Yes, that's what my understanding is.
Right, other than that, I don't have.
Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any callers on the item?
I have one caller on the line.
Okay.
Ms. Veronica Corrales,
Yes,
you are online. Can you hear us?
yes. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. We can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I have a few concerns because I live on Lilac Lane, a little bit lower than with these properties. And I'd like to know first, and how long, if they can rebuild, how long it's going to take this work? And my other concerns is every time when rain or something happens, all the debris from that property ended right in front of my driveway, and the water and the debris is stuck right here. And I'm always sweeping and cleaning all the time. I live here for more than 30 years. And, you know, everybody, my husband works from home, and many of the people here around work from home. So that's my concern about the debris, because another neighbors under this property is still now keep working on his house, remodeling something, then we don't know what it is. So I'd like to know how long it's going to take if this happens, and if they are allowed to clean and make sure nothing is going to happen right in front of my property, and that the trucks and everybody don't park in front of my driveway.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to chime in, just to answer a few of these questions. So every time a permit is pulled, as part of standard review, there is a construction management plan where Public Works, Building Safety, they will take a look at where staging will take place. Construction haul routes, I know this is kind of a limited area, but they'll take a look at where the equipment and where and when equipment and construction vehicles will be coming in, and whether debris or haul demolition needs to be taken out. It's standard review by various departments. Also for grading, and I know she had some concerns about when it rains. I believe she might be talking about maybe if it's maybe it's grade or maybe it's construction debris she's talking about, but as standard review also by Building Safety and Public Works, it would just be reviewed for its drainage for any grading that goes along. And I would imagine with these new retaining walls that we're going to be discussing the design for in the driveway, they'll be making sure that the proper drainage is being taken care of. As far as construction, you know, depending if they were to pull the permits, and typically, you know, a house could be close to a year. You know, there are many factors, whether, you know, there's compliance or you know, how long it takes for their workers, but generally about a year. But, you know, I don't believe that the applicant has prepared any engineering drawings to submit the plan check, but that generally takes us several months. But to answer your question, if they were to get an approval today, there's a 15-day appeal period. Generally, it takes several months for a person to draft engineering, and once they submit the plan check, they might take a couple months, maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, depending on the workload. But after that, another construction to commence, approximately maybe close to a year, maybe a little bit under a year, but just kind of answering it in general. Different things, different requirements, different type, but that's just kind of it in a general gist. But there.
Thank you. And you'll have an opportunity to answer it if you'd like. The caller's comments. Come on up.
Yes, please. Go ahead, for the record, state your name.
Yeah, my name is Hashatu Arakin, and I'm owner of the 2084 Lilac Street. Since I bought that house, only I'm the one who's cleaning the street. So I do the sign that the cleaning date and never seen any sitting the cleaner machine or anything.
Street
there.
sweeper.
Yeah, nobody. Never been clean. I the one who's cleaning, and my driveway is lowest. There is no such driveway anymore in the street. I'm the lowest driveway. Maybe after that down there, I don't know. But when the fire was, after that, all debris was collected in my driveway, and I bring the truck and I loaded all the dirt, everything I clean myself. All the neighbors know, and then whatever he says that debris coming from my retaining wall is not true. I clean up dirt, I load it and unload the truck. That's the neighbor next door. It's a hillside, very steep. That's where all the debris is coming down. You can see in the pictures, they put they raise the retaining wall, but it's overlapped the dirt. So it's not from my property.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any final questions or comments from anybody? Okay. All right, with that, we'll close the public hearing and begin our deliberations. Board Member Lakaroff, would you like to lead us off?
Sure. Well, thank you, staff, for your presentation. And I would just like to start off by saying overall, I support this project moving forward. I think that the site plan was thoughtful and minimal. I know that you guys really tried to not impact the site. It's a huge site, so you could have done a lot of things, and you stayed on the existing footprint and aren't doing massive grading. And so I appreciate that. I'd say, given that you were working with something existing, I can see that you were trying to do that. I think that my one comment would be what we were alluding to in our initial questions is that one corner, if you could pull up the 3D again, just maybe a condition or a consideration, I'll open it up to the board members, of how to resolve the corner where the large mass intersects the lower roof line there. Just maybe the overhang doesn't go as far, or perhaps the other roof continues across at that same slope. It looks like two different slopes in this particular rendering. So this might have been the older, and that might be affecting how we're seeing this as well. Anyway, so I think there are a couple different ways that they could address that and maybe work with staff to clean up the corner at that location. So that would be my recommendation. And then, it could be terminating that fascia, as simple as that. In terms of the driveway and wall, I think they could work with staff in coming up with selecting a material, just as long as it's cohesive with the other walls on site, and so it's not, like you were saying, so many materials going on. And then in terms of the color, I concur with a slightly more cream or off-white color. If I'm not set on added materials, so I think the one thing with this is that it is kind of two different roofs coming together, and that it's all one color actually helps it. And so if materials are added, I just want to make sure that they're that they tie the building together versus singling out different portions of the building, if that makes sense. So so that lower volume doesn't feel even more detached than it does currently. So, and I think that's it. But otherwise, I support your project, and good luck. So, thank you.
Thank you. Board Member Halajian?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In general, I am in support of the project as well. It's a modest development. applicant and the design or the architect stated that they will be complying with the conditions. Oh, I apologize. They will be complying with the conditions that the staff highlighted, so I'm in support of that as well. And I do agree with my colleague, Mrs. Lycroft, that there's room for improvement on the sloping of the roof and make it more uniform, or not uniform, but like that kind of, it looks as if two different buildings came together. So if there's a room for improvement, and if we would like make that as a consideration, I'm support of that. And that's all I have. And one thing I would advise the applicant is to continue working with the staff to answer some of the questions as far as, the wall finishes, if it's not stucco and natural stone, maybe they can work with the staff and presenting some samples where both they can agree and move forward. So in general, in support, and thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for my comments, I agree with my colleagues here. I support the project. I think that's the ideas about restudying the roof form are definitely appropriate. I agree with you. It does seem like it's two things sort of pushed together rather than a more holistic design. So I think that we should make it a condition to restudy the roof forms and how they're conjoined together. I appreciate the fact that you want a higher roof level in that room, and that's perfectly fine. I think that there's just other ways that you can go about joining those roof forms together to make it look a little bit more holistic. But otherwise, I think it's fine. As Board Member Lockrow said, it's generally a modest plan. From a site planning and massing, I have no objections to it. I think it's, sloped up towards the higher hillside, so I think it meets the design guidelines. I do support staff's conditions. I think that's, looking at adding more materials, I think is appropriate. Changing the color to a more natural color is appropriate, and that's, what the design guidelines specify for us. The only other thing that I would add is, the scaling of the fenestration was, the big window in the living room was just a little bit overscaled to me. And I thought, maybe it could be shrunk down a little bit, or maybe if we leave that, then maybe the garage windows, the two short little sliders below the balcony, could be made a little bit bigger. Because it just, the dichotomy between these tiny little windows and that huge window right next to it was just a little jarring to me. So I thought that maybe you could study that, and that maybe could be a consideration for the project. But I'll turn it back over to my colleagues to get some feedback here.
Yeah, just in regards to the windows specifically, I think, it could be consideration to study, and I agree. I think that gave me pause, but I was on more of the side of making the windows bigger in terms of the house, so I think, and maybe leaving it to the designer a little bit and staff to work through getting that balance.
Would the board agree that maybe the head of the windows and the door would have share the same datum, so it does share some consistency, and we can work with the staff, with the applicant as far as maybe window sizes and fenestration pattern? 'Cause I know there's some volumes where, for example, on the new south elevation, which would be on the bottom of the screen, like the head of the windows, they don't really match up, which traditionally the head of the windows kind of share that same datum line. So there's some consistency as your eye pans across the elevation. We can work with the.
Yeah, and it could be even that once they study the materials, that can be a solution as well. So the top of the material might be going at that level, the level of the larger window. I think that might, those could be hand in hand. But for me, I can appreciate in a large volume wanting to have a tall window, for the interior. Yeah. So
I concur. I just think that from a massing perspective, the how it dominates the facade was just a little much. But again, I don't feel that strongly about it unless there's other people who agree. But I think that's a consideration to study rebalancing the fenestration and potentially, aligning headers so that they're a little bit more consistent, I think would be an appropriate wording for consideration.
Right. They could even raise the windows on the right to meet it, or, vice versa. Yeah, I like how
That
you
might be
worded
tough,
that.
but,
Yeah, with the ceiling height, but.
Yeah, I do appreciate your comment, Mr. Chair, and I would support the consideration of restudying the windows. Yep.
Okay, so with that feedback, do you have what you need in terms of the conditions? So there'd be one added condition, which is to restudy the roof forms to make a more holistic joining between the first story and the second story and the middle section, and then a consideration of the fenestration plan for rebalancing it and potentially aligning, the window forms.
May I ask the board maybe for some guidance on condition number 3, which is just studying a greater variety of exterior materials and add architectural interest. We'd be glad to work with the applicant, but if the board would like to share maybe some guidance as far as guiding us so that when we do work with them, I mean, I do see some things that we can add in the volume, maybe the front entry. For example, if they were to use a cladding material there, maybe like a stone, or maybe or maybe even add some.
Just in that recessed area of the
Right,
entryway?
or even.
Right.
Entry
adding-
is clad. The entry is clad, but it's just a little hard to see because it's
okay.
it's recessed into, which is what the guidelines want.
Or even, I know you wrote that if you want to add in there, I'm just saying that we're happy to always work with them, but if you're asking for more variety of materials, maybe you can ask more guidance. If you guys want to offer it, that's all I'm asking.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate that.
My offer would be to consider adding trims around the window rather than making a just straight stucco, smooth stucco all over. So it will add an architectural element, and maybe it will balance the overall look. But I'm open for suggestions.
Actually, I like the modernness to it, personally, but of the window detailing, but, yeah, I'm open. One thing that I was thinking was, of course, if whatever the material is clad on the entry, maybe it's at that base where it's shaded, is that also clad already?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. On the inside, yeah, on the entry.
No, on the entry, but on the base of the entire building, there's a shading in the first maybe 24 inches or something.
Some kind of
Is
stone
that a
That's the stone veneer. Yeah, wainscoting around the base of the building. Yeah.
detail? Gotcha.
I personally, I didn't feel strongly about that.
I didn't either.
It's a modest project, and it sits way above the street, so it's not, super visible from the street below you, so I didn't feel that strongly about it. Like you, I kind of like a more simplified plan there.
Right.
But, I understand what you're going for, and I certainly think that I'm okay to leave the condition in there for you to work with the applicant on that, to see if you can work with them to bring about it. But from a visual perspective, from a design and detailing perspective, I don't see an absolute need to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to just leave it as it is. You can work with them. If you can reach a consensus on that, great. If not, I don't think any of us have any objections to it
Yeah,
as it is.
if it stays as is, I would be okay, especially knowing that entryway is clad and the base is clad. I think it's nice. But I do agree with the color for our design guidelines, like we were saying,
Yeah.
that does definitely need to
For
be.
the stucco color, yes. For the window color, I don't have an objection to black windows
Right.
myself, so.
Very good. I hear you loud and clear. Thanks for that feedback. Mhm.
Okay, so with the staff's conditions, and maybe we can strike out, maybe we can remove the black, if ever the board is okay with that.
Correct.
With the added condition in regards to resolve the roof form and provide a better transition between the first and second level, with the addition, with the consideration about the fenestration pad, improving it with the proportions and placement on the elevations. Do we have a motion?
I motion to approve this with the conditions stated. Thank you.
I'll second that. Thank you.
Okay, this will be roll call. Okay, Board Member Halajian,
Yes.
Board Member Lockhart,
Yes.
and Mr. Pro Tem Welsh.
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Oh, and I move to end the meeting.
Community Development doesn't have any department updates, and we do have an adjournment. It is 5:50 p.m.
The meeting is
Thank you.
adjourned. Okay.